Maybe you're married, maybe you're not married, maybe you're single and ready to get married. I hope that some of these things can be helpful for you. I wish that I would have learned it sooner. Hello, and welcome to my little corner of the world. I'm so glad that you're here. It's February. It's Love Month. Since we're on the topic of love, I just wanted to share some things that I've learned in my marriage. The first thing I learned was that I am selfish. Because it's like, okay, I have only had to deal with myself. And here I am thinking like, I'm not selfish. I'm a giving person. I care about people and all this. And then you get married and then you're like, no, I am not selfless. Matter of fact, I am like the most selfish person ever. Like, I am a selfish person. As a young adult, you're living your life, everything revolves around me, and I do what I want to do when I want to do it. And then you get married, and then you realize, like, you are selfish. You can't be selfish. It's no longer about you. It's no longer about you when you're married. Act of marriage is two becoming one, and two can't become one if one person is holding on to only their wants and only their desires. That's where that compromise has to come into play. They talk about it all the time, like two shall become one. Didn't really understand what that really meant until I was walking that in my marriage. It was a test. Like, no, no, Sach, you're actually very selfish. Realizing that I was selfish in my marriage was definitely a very hard pill to swallow. It took me a while, and I am still learning to really shift my mind to becoming one. Like, my desires, my wants, things that I aspire to do, or the dreams that I have. That's good and that's wonderful, but some of those things might not be in alignment with what my husband wants. You know? I guess, like, really just recognizing how selfish I was and really just realizing that I have to compromise, and not everything that I want has to take priority. Like, because of that selfishness, I really just try to, especially this last year, is that need to die to self, dying to ourselves, so that we can become one with our husband. The thing that I learned is that I am not patient. Like, I thought I was so patient, and I think one of my very strong suits that makes me a decent nurse is that I'm generally a pretty patient person. And it's like, no, Saj, you are not. You are not patient at all. You want what you want when you want it. You want it later today. You wanted it yesterday. And you're not happy. You're frustrated. You got your own timeline. You haven't even talked to your husband about what the timeline is, but it's an imaginary timeline that he has to abide by. That it's like, what is going on? Like, you are not patient at all. Like, I don't know why you thought you were patient. Like, I've only had to deal with myself for so long that the moment that I had to interact with my husband on a day-to-day basis, like, I am not patient at all. It was just, like, shocked. Couldn't believe it. But another thing that I learned is it's okay to be comfortable in uncomfortability. I've always been a person that doesn't necessarily enjoy, well, I should say, I avoid confrontation by any means necessary historically. And that meant like talking about things that made me uncomfortable. Like, I don't like how this makes me feel, and so I don't want to talk about it. Or I don't want to confront a situation, so I'm just going to ignore it. I think like one of the really big things that I learned in my marriage is like it's okay to be in uncomfortable situations. And I think it's always when I work through those uncomfortable situations, whether it's talking about something that has irritated me or that has upset me, taking your time if you need it, because sometimes everybody needs a little time, and coming back to a situation, talking through it, I really feel like has helped me grow in myself and grow in my relationship with my husband, to work through the unpleasant things. The kind of work that you have to do in marriage for it to be successful is a type of work that can be very uncomfortable, especially if you haven't really come to grips and to terms with certain things in your life. Marriage will bring all of that out. Marriage will bring everything out. It's all out on the table. Oh, you're this? Oh, yeah, we're here. There's no hiding anything. Marriage is literally a mirror in front of you to show you all the flaws and all the things that are wrong or that are good. I'm not going to sit here and say that everything that is shown is bad, but definitely things that you may have hidden in your heart, things that you might have hidden in your past, the traumas that you never dealt with, like they all come out into the forefront in your marriage. And it's like a deep, intense therapy that happens for years and years and years, and new revelations come up as you start to unfold and discover things. The last but not least thing that I learned is that my marriage is my first ministry. God gave me the gift of marriage. You get so wrapped up in the day-to-day life that sometimes you forget that you've been gifted this thing. You've been gifted marriage. And one of the things that we've been really diving into this last month, I went on a fast last month, and one of the things that I really took from there is stewardship. God gave me this gift of marriage. How am I stewarding it? How am I showing up in my marriage that reflects God? The things that I learned is that my marriage is my first ministry. I can't expect myself to go out into the community and do good works if I haven't even showed up for my husband. I haven't even cared for him. It begins at home. So that is one of the big things that I learned being married, and something that I'm still working on till this day. Only God can help me as I try to die to myself and my own flesh and my own desires, so that I can try and be one with the one that God gifted me with. This is all the things that I've learned during my marriage. I really hope that something that I said was helpful. I hope that something that I talked about today was able to resonate with you, or that you have something to chew on for maybe when you get married. I'm so glad that you've joined me today and that you're here. I love you.